Alright, so in my never-ending quest to try out every frickin' flashlight on the planet, I got hold of one of these. It's the Wurkkos, I think TD05. It's obviously black. That's the emitter, the SFT40, 5000K's color range. And that's really kind of all I know about it. I didn't do a lot of pre-research on it. I just got hold of it. This is the first time I'm seeing this light along with you guys. So packaging seems minimal. They call this a tactical light, by the way. Comes with a USB-C charging cable, some instructions, attentions. I'll look through those and not trouble you with them. Not a huge light, by the way. Actually kind of small. I'm assuming this USB-C charging port right here under the rubber. Yep, there you go. Reasonably easy to get to, and it snaps back into place pretty nicely. Dual position pocket clip, so you can do a ball cap or put it on your pocket. Feels pretty lightweight to me too, actually. I am kind of curious. All right, as it ships, 4.7 ounces. So I know there's an insulator in here. Let's pop that out real quick. Unscrew the tail cap. I think this thing retails for a pretty low price. I hate to talk price specs because obviously they're subject to change any time. But the last time I looked at this light, it was 30 bucks on their webpage. So it is a very reasonably priced light. We'll take the little insulator off. I'll hang on to that for a rainy day. And we'll seal it back. Let's see, so half press gets you momentary. Full press gets you the stay on. This is a battery indicator, and it was red, so I'm assuming this battery's pretty low. Mode switch goes through the different modes. I'm going to actually charge this before I subject it to any testing of lumens or anything like that. I'll read the directions off camera. One thing I will say is the direction book. I don't know if you've heard me complain about small text. Reasonably small text on this. Same thing with the warnings. So if you're starting to get old creaky eyes like me, that's maybe a downfall. I'm sure they've got directions on their webpage. Replacement O-rings, lanyard, you know, kind of the standard fare. I'm curious about the output and everything like that. So once I get a charge on it, we'll test that. I'll do some beam shots. But, you know, nice price on this light. We'll see if it stacks up when it comes to outputs and things like that. It really might be, cautiously optimistic, a reasonable alternative for some higher priced tactical lights. We'll try it out. So stick around. All right. So green means it's fully charged, and we are good to go on that. Let's play with the modes just a little bit and see what we got. So we hit the tail switch, turn on. I think I'm in like echo. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4? So there's echo, low, medium, and high. And then we go back down to echo, eco, whatever you want to call it. We'll do, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, okay. I'll test the outputs in a little bit. If I double tap the side, I think it's the side, it might be the tail switch for, yeah, that goes to turbo. And I can single press to go back. If I triple tap, then I get the epilepsy mode, single tap to go back. I think when it comes to the modes and the tail switch, yeah, I can't switch it through that. Now let's see, 2, 3, 4. So it does have mode memory, and obviously you can do intermittent as well. And this tells you how much battery you have. Green is 76% or higher. There's orange, red, and flashing red for each of the 25 percentiles. So I like that. I like that very much. My one complaint right off the jump when looking at the modes, I wish that there was a direct way to go to turbo without going doom doom and doing the double tap. That's my one issue when it comes to the flaw of the total thing. Now we do have protected tail switch, so it's going to be harder for me to inadvertently turn it on. However, if it's in your pocket, you could get the wiener roast or the clam bake. I wonder if I unscrew this partially, like to there. Okay, so you could lock it out by just giving it like a quarter twist, and then, yeah, so something to think about. There is, in effect, a hidden lockout, but it's not through the switching. It's just, let's see, and that's, yeah, quarter turn. Quarter turn does it. You don't even have to get crazy. You're probably going to lose a bit of water resistance if you do that stunt, so, you know, be aware you're giving up one thing to do another. Overall, I don't hate the switching, and I do like the mode memory. Like I said, my one fault, if I had to give it a fault just in looking at the modes, 2 faults, right? 1, no lockout. 2, no direct means to go to turbo without doing some extra switching. I'm not really worried about strobe. I don't usually use it. Some people love strobe, some people hate strobe, but in general, that's the modes. I'm gonna do some lumen testing in terms of outputs, and then I'll do some beam shots. So stand by for that. All right, so basement beam shots with the Wurkkos TD05. Right now, this is on low, I'm sorry, eco, even lower than low. Really nice and dim, still a good hot spot, but you know, you're not gonna overwhelm anything or your own night vision. You're certainly not gonna backslash blind yourself on the eco. Then we go to, hang on, let me hit that side switch. Low, which is just a little brighter, but still not bad. Medium, where we start to get some decent output, so also not bad. High, which is I forget their claimed output, I'll annotate it somewhere. And then if you double tap, we get the turbo there, which is their highest output. Now, my beef, getting that turbo requires you to double tap. I hate double taps. And then a single tap takes you back to the previous mode. And then if you hit the side switch again, we're back to low. So the user interface is not bad, relatively easy to get to all the modes. It's a little more tricky to get to turbo. That's indoors, just as a reminder, from where I am standing to that far wall where there's that little IPSC target is 8 yards, just to give you some point of reference. All right, so outdoor beam shots with the same light. From here to the tree line's about 20 yards. Let's see, which mode do I have it in? Let's go to low. If I'm in low, you're not really seeing a lot of it. You can certainly see it on the fence, which is much closer, but you're not really seeing a lot of it on the tree line. At least I'm not through the viewfinder. If I go to, I'm sorry, this is eco, low, now you're seeing a little teeny bit of it. Medium, now I can really start to see the trees. And high gives me a good spot at that point. Turbo gives me even more. And then if I just go back to high, so a good hot spot, not a lot of flood. All right, now from this perspective, to that street light all the way out there is, I believe, 180 yards, might be even a little bit longer, but the same set of lights. Let's go to low, or I'm sorry, eco. Once again, you can see it on the fence, but when we start getting in the distance, that really gets swallowed. You might be able to see a little teeny bit of shine on that far street sign over there. One tap up goes to low, and now I've getting a little bit more. Medium, I can really start to see the reflection of the street sign and the stop sign over there. High, I've got a very good spot. And then turbo. So a lot of throw. I like this is a very throwy light for its size and output. Like I said, if you want a floody light, pardon, there's an airplane going over. If you want a floody light, this is really not it. It's more of a punchy light, but I think for most applications, it's not bad. And then if I go back to high and then low again. So you can get some good distance from this light, but it's also certainly usable indoors. So let's talk about the Wurkkos TD05. What I liked about it, what I disliked about it, and my general thoughts. First, the outputs. I'll put them on the screen. The lower levels of outputs were pretty much dead on. The 2 topmost outputs didn't quite meet the claims. The punch of the beam was still really good. So if you see the outdoor beam shots, I was still super happy with it. A lot of flashlight manufacturers struggle to get the highest outputs. Now, take my measurements with a grain of salt. My testing protocol is a styrofoam cooler and a very cheap light meter, okay? So my testing is not a $1,000 ANSI spec like sphere that's integrating sphere. It is a cheap setup. So if my measurements don't meet what the manufacturer says, it kind of is what it is. But I've certainly seen in similar size lights greater output, but not at this price. And probably I should veer off and say that one of the greatest things about this is the price. I'm not aware of a flashlight in this size and output capacity that goes for 30 bucks, which is right now what you can get it for. And I haven't even checked, but the last time I looked, you couldn't find this on Amazon. You can only get this through Wurkkos' website right now. I assume that at some point this starts to hit other retailers, but this thing is brand spanking new. 30 bucks right now as of the time of this recording. I'm not aware of another light that for 30 bucks gives you this type of performance. Super lightweight, less than 5 ounces, 18650 battery. So if you're one of those people who wants to swap out batteries, they got you with this, easy day. Visible battery indicator, so there's no guesswork as to am I out of batteries or not. I very much like that. There are some lights that don't have that, and I find that very frustrating. I think that with the current crop of batteries, you really need to do that. The overall construction seems very nice. The flap that covers the USB-C port is nice and firm, like it stays in there nicely, and I haven't had it coming loose in my pocket, which I've seen out of some other lights. I like the dual position pocket clip, the quarter rotate of the tail cap to lock it out so you do not cook yourself in your pocket. These are all excellent things, really good features. Overall, the construction seems very nice. I like how the threads on the tail cap were anodized, so that really kind of speaks to me of some thoughtful steps they didn't have to take when they put this light together at that price point. Super, super nice. The user interface is very easy. You know, I hit the tail switch to turn it on and then the side switch to go swap through modes. And obviously it's got mode memory. So if I put it on high and then I turn it off, turn it on, I've got high again. If I take it down to eco, turn it off, turn it on, I've got eco again. If I were using this in a tactical capacity, I would put this on high, I would leave it on high, and I would clip it to my gear. That's what I'd do with it. If I were using it for some other purpose, like a task-specific light, then obviously I'd probably leave it in one of the modes that was more appropriate for what I was doing. Now, no review would be complete without getting into dislikes, and really my number one major dislike is I want to be able to get the highest output through the main interface, and I can't do that. I've got to double tap the side switch to get that turbo, the high mode. And let's see, if I double tap it, turn it off, turn it on, yeah, see, it defaults back to high. Not a deal breaker, and the high is still pretty good in terms of light output, but like I said, my overwhelming screaming desire with a tactical light is that when I hit that button, I get all the light. So a little bit of a ding for these guys, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. It's just probably a point of consideration. Overall, I like the light a lot. And for this kind of price point, really guys, I'm not kidding. If you've got 30 bucks to spend on a light you want to use for tactical or other purposes, that's, in my opinion, fairly easily pocketable because of the size and weight of this thing, much nicer than some of the other lights I have reviewed. I like this light a lot. I would buy it, although I have to mention Wurkkos did send me this product, not with any consideration they were going to get a favorable or unfavorable review. They haven't seen this video yet. They'll see it at the same time you guys do. In general, guys, I like their product. Oh, I would say I wish that their documentation, while it's very comprehensive, would have slightly bigger print because my aging eyes and small print kind of crushes me. You can certainly get a PDF of the documentation on their website, so it's not the end of the world. I will end this here, guys. A solid flashlight, certainly a very usable flashlight for all sorts of tasks, but also for tactical if that's how you want to use it. Guys, in general, if you like gear reviews and you also like things like guns, knives, occasional fitness, and I've started throwing in vlogs. Sorry, sometimes I just go on a rant. Please make sure that you subscribe for more of this content. If you've enjoyed this or this style of content, please hit the like. I will end this here. I appreciate you guys. If you've watched this all the way to the end especially, I know that sometimes we get in the middle, find that piece of data that we want, call it a day. I really appreciate you guys. So with that said, I'll close here. Take care, stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Get 'em, Jay.